Welcome to the In Story Show. I'm Devorah Spilman, your host, and today I am thrilled to welcome In Story expert Aline Davis. And Aline is a healer and a guided imagery expert, as you'll see, and a member of the In Story Way. And today we're going to kind of dive into how do you take the things that have always been your natural abilities and turn them into the gifts you share with the world. So Aline, share a little bit about what are some of those gifts that everybody always said you were good at, and like what happened when someone finally said, Aline, this is a real thing. You can really do something with this.
First of all, thank you so much for having me. So since I was really, really young, people would always tell me their problems. And I just thought that was normal. I thought that as it hadn't been any other way, I was used to people coming to me and seeking my help. And from somewhere I had the answers. I don't know, I didn't know how, but the answers would just come up that they needed. I'd be waiting for a bus and somebody would be chatting to me and I'd help them. One day I was on a train to work and there was a problem with the train and the lady sat next to me. She was an older lady. She was on the way to go and see her family. And bless her, she called me her angel because she had her case with her. And we all had to get off the train and I helped her go to where she needed to go. And, you know, I've always seemed to be somewhere where I can be of service, you know? So it's kind of, but I just thought that was normal. and from a very early age as well, I've seen colors, I've seen things, I've felt things. And for example, I've known what somebody's about to say. I've known how somebody is feeling before they tell me how they're feeling, and I thought that was the same for everybody. But when I was a lot younger, I used to hide myself a little when it got very overwhelming. But I've learned now that it's a gift and it's here to be shared, and I'm here to be of service.
100%, and you're so not alone in that, because as kids, nobody told us that these things were gifts or how you were supposed to use it positively. So share a little bit about when someone, you know, when you kind of finally landed with a spiritual teacher who started to show you how to use your gifts in a more intentional way.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. So I was going through a bit of a situation. Well, one thing I'd like to say just very quickly, so it's quite funny, what I do remember when I was younger is I would take hours and hours and hours in the shower singing. And my friends would phone up to talk to me and, is she in the shower again? Yes. And that was my kind of happiest place with the water and singing. Anyway, so when I met, I call her my spiritual life coach, an absolutely amazing woman, very much like yourself. And I was going through a situation with a partner that I've been trying to leave, and I just couldn't do it. Every time I had the strength to go, I just couldn't do it. So a friend of mine, she said she was going to see, she'd been recommended to see a lady, and she talked about her, and my intuition went, you have to go and see her. So I went to go meet this lady, and she was absolutely incredible. She took me on visualizations, imagery, a lot of spiritual work. And she said to me one day, it's very unusual to have a client that's so susceptible and agrees to do everything that we're going to do without asking so many questions. And I said to her, it just feels natural. I trust you, and it feels so right. And she mentioned to me that it would be wonderful for me to meet Christos and Foster. And it was, and it has been. They're absolutely amazing. And through Colleen, she arranged for me to go to my first shamanic workshop in England. And we were introduced to shamanic journeys, and I found it just natural for me, and I enjoyed it so much. And we were guided, but we were allowed to go a little bit free rein, which was amazing for me as well. So when we discussed about what we were experiencing, and then I went to 2, 3, 4, or 5 more of the workshops with the same shaman, an incredible man. He actually said to me one day, he said, "You're a natural healer, and it's very unusual." So, I mean, that was, and I'm humbled, and that was beautiful to hear. And that was kind of the opening up of, well, if this is something that I can naturally do, perhaps I can do it for other people. And I'd qualified to be a massage therapist. I then decided, I had an epiphany. After I managed to leave the gentleman that I was trying to leave, I went on holiday to Spain. And I called it my exorcism. I went on my own everywhere that we've been together and had a better time. So anyway, I was on a beach in Spain, and that's where I had my epiphany. I was moving to Spain. And I've been here for 10 years now. And I moved to Spain, and I started using the massage therapy skill that I had, that I'd actually applied for. I'd gone to college, night college for it, but then I never used it because I went into sales, which actually was what people thought I should do, which is interesting. So I was really interested in different forms of massage, and I qualified as a hot stone massage therapist. And it's a really beautiful therapy. And I was treating a client one day, and as lots of clients do, and when we're having massages, we talk about what's happening in our lives. And I found myself guided to say, "Would you mind if I just take you through a little bit of a journey?" And that was the turning point, and it really, really helped her. There was another client that it wasn't always journey. Sometimes I would sing. And there was one of my clients, she said, "I've had that song in my head all day." Wow. So it's something that it just lights me up. I absolutely love it. It makes me feel alive. It makes me feel just full of light that I can help people in this way, and I can help people go inside so they can get the answers for themselves instead of asking everybody else.
Right. Well, I think so many of us were never taught how to go inside and how to trust what we get. Right. And so being able to learn how to do that, I do think it is really life changing. And so maybe you can share a little bit about some more of those things, both within story and how that's helped you, and other things that have given you sort of that strength to come out of hiding, because that is a big issue for a lot of people, is that as soon as we're asked to share about ourselves and our abilities, all of a sudden, even though we've been great at helping everybody else, and it's unbelievable how many people I talk to who say, well, I can't really share about myself because I'm afraid to be seen. They're fine being in public about everybody else. So I just think that's such an interesting thing. But share a little bit more of some of those things that have really helped you to start to walk through that discomfort.
Yeah, absolutely. And no, I completely understand and empathize with that, because it took me a very, very long time to be able to talk about what I can do. And because there was an element of me that used to feel that it's not okay for me to shine my lights, because it might make somebody else not feel so great, And it's crazy, because when we shine our light, when we're that lighthouse, it allows other people to shine their light and be that lighthouse too, and so on and so on. So what happened was, for me, is I started really listening to my intuition, and I kept seeing posts on Facebook from a friend of mine that I hadn't seen for 7 years, and she's an incredible empath with horses, and I got in touch with her, and we had an incredible time, and I said, I have to do this. And I spent a week with her. I ended up singing with the horses. It was just beautiful. And it was working with energies and vibrations. And because I was away from everything, I was in this little bubble with the horses. I stayed at an apartment near the horses. It was a beautiful cortijo in the south of Spain. So I didn't go anywhere else apart from there. And that's where a friend of mine sent me information for summits. And you were on there. And I went through the list of everybody, and I tend to cherry pick, but I didn't want to listen to anybody else apart from you. And so I listened to your interview. I listened to your guided process. I then looked up on your website. I then did your Get Out of the Goo, and it was incredible. And then I had to meet you, and then here we are. And I just want to say that it's the In-Story women. You've all been just so amazing because we champion each other, you know, and it's and allowing to not hide, and allowing it to be a wonderful thing to shine and a wonderful thing to help people, and to accept your gifts. Because when we accept our gifts, so I'm so emphatic about this, but when we accept our gifts, that's when other people can accept theirs. And when, you know, and when I guide people to get the answers, they can then take themselves on the journeys. You know, we can all do it naturally. It's just going inside and reminding ourselves of what we already know.
Elena, you're so completely right. And it's such a weird, I love what you said about at first you were scared to shine your light, because if I shine my light, then obviously no one else can. And then your realization, of course, that it's exactly the opposite. You know, that it really is exactly the opposite, that when you are shining your light, then that allows each person in your light to find their own light and shine it. Which, you know, and also what you said about, you know, helping people to be able to get the answers for themselves is so powerful. And I guess also like the whole thing that when you're with a group of women who are championing, like you said, to champion somebody, it is really powerful, because so much of the other messages we've gotten were negative. Right, and so we carry that voice.
No, absolutely. You know, you should be the kind of old adage. You should be seen and not heard. So it's, but no, absolutely. It's I feel the world is changing so much, and it's so beautiful for us to just lead from love, lead from our hearts, and when we listen to our hearts, that's when the magic happens, you know. That's when we truly love ourselves exactly how we are, not thinner, not bigger, not taller, when we're grateful and thankful for being in this amazing body we've been given, for having the incredible life we have and the amazing gifts, that's when we shine the most, you know.
Completely. And it's like, so it's just the funniest thing, because we almost all bump into the opposite of that first.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to somehow change myself.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And it's a really beautiful and interesting process, because sometimes you can feel that you're the only one going through this, and that you feel so alone. But the moment you share, people feel so surprised that they're not the only one, and you don't have to close the door and switch the lights off and not be seen. And I really feel, and a very wise person told me this before, that the harder your life is to start with, the more reason you have to be here, the more service you have to give, the more stories you have to tell. Wow. You know, the more people you are here to help.
Wow. That's I'm so glad you said that. It's a very important message. You know, and part of the goal of this whole series is to help all of you who are watching to have the courage to share your story too. And, you know, and just like Aline just said, that when you do that, you don't feel so alone, you know, because that is part of what's hard. So, Aline, you have I know you're going to give a super cool free gift that's a guided process, but do you want to do a smaller one that we talked about for everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to.
I like to do a little something experiential in the middle of the interviews too.
Yes, so
And then
normally
people have an opportunity to share.
okay, perfect. Because normally the processes are a little bit longer, but I can pare this one down a little bit. So
And it's also, just for everybody to know, we're recording this on Halloween.
yeah, happy Samhain.
And so that was actually Aline's request, that she said like the veil is thinner. So
Exactly.
and even though when you are going to be listening to this, it won't be when we're recording it, you're still going to get this expanded energetic state. Okay, all right, so go ahead.
So close your eyes and uncross your legs and uncross your arms. And I'd like you to take a deep breath in and hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let it go. And take another deep breath in and hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let it go. And another deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you exhale, just feel any fear, any uncomfort, anything that's been niggling you, any stress, any concerns. Just feel your shoulders lower. Feel your face, the muscles on your face completely relax. Feel your whole body relax and be so grateful for this moment, that you're taking this moment for yourself. And just start to breathe normally at your own pace. Whatever feels right for you is absolutely right. And just feel into this moment just for a few seconds, and then I'm going to take you on a journey. We're going to the theatre. Okay, so in your mind's eye, I'd like you to see a door. There's a large wooden door in front of you with a beautiful golden ornate handle. And you feel so safe to open this door. So put your hand onto the handle and open the door and walk through. And as you walk through, you're in the most beautiful theatre you have ever seen. Any theatre you like. It can be a movie theatre, it can be a modern theatre, it can be an old-fashioned theatre with ornate gold and plush velvet seats, whatever works for you. Now in front of you there are 5 steps. You're going to walk up the 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you feel so safe and feel so at home and protected. And you see the most perfect seat in the theatre. It's just you in there, and any of your guides that want the best for you. And you feel yourself being lifted up and up and up and taken to the best seat of the house. And you are gently placed into the seat and made to feel so comfortable. And in front of you, you see the stage with the curtains closed and the lights in the theatre are still up. And in a moment, the curtain is going to open and you will see a scene before you. Now think of anything that's been bothering you today, anything that's been niggling you. anything that makes you feel unhappy, anything that worries you that you have to do. Just think of that, you're completely safe, and when the curtains open, you're going to go into that scene and you're going to see the worst possible outcome. What's the worst that could happen? So take a deep breath in and just know you're completely safe. Exhale. The lights go down in the theatre, the curtains open, and you're in the scene. Whenever you feel ready, just nod your head and let me know it's time to come back. So the curtains close, the lights come up, and you're in your seat. And you laugh your head off. It is the funniest thing you have ever seen. It's absolutely hysterical. You've got tears of laughter coming down your face. It's so funny. And when you're ready, just give me a little nod. Okay, so now, when the lights go down and the curtains open, you're going to go back into that scene and you're going to change it to the best possible outcome. So the lights go down, the curtains open, and you're on stage again. And this is the best possible outcome. And you feel so happy and you feel so blessed. It feels so right. It feels amazing. I'm going to leave you for a few moments. And when you're ready, just nod your head and we can come back. So the lights go down, the curtains close. The curtains open again, the lights go up on the stage, and you come forward to take a bow. And you look before you, and the theatre is full of people who love you, who adore you, who are so happy. They're standing on their feet. There's a standing ovation. It's the most incredible thing they have ever seen. And they're so grateful that you have shown your true self. And you take a bow, and you laugh, and you smile, and all the roses from the audience are thrown to you. And you feel incredible. Then the lights go down, the curtains close, the lights come back up in the theatre, and the audience is still there, and they all look to you in the seats. And they're still clapping and they're still cheering you on and thanking you for being your incredible, authentic self. Can you feel wonderful? And now you feel yourself being lifted. It's time to come back. Your guides, your angels, whoever you want to have with you, are taking you back to the top of the stairs, and you're coming back. And you had the most amazing experience, and you're ready to bring it into this realm. So at the top of the stairs, you go down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there's the door before you. You walk through, open the door, you walk through, and you're back. And you open your eyes. Hello. Wiggle your fingers and toes, stamp your feet if you need to get back. Thank you so much for letting me do that. I can't hear you. The sound's gone.
Sorry, I'm back. Sorry, I didn't want to have all my like deep breaths over your
Oh, yeah, no,
sound, and
absolutely.
but
Oh, that would...
I loved it so much, and it completely like expanded my energy. It made me feel so joyous. And what was funny is that when you imagine the best scene, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be on this stage. And then you said, and now you're on the stage. So I was like, oh yeah. And so I really want to encourage everybody who's watching to share something that you got from that in the Facebook group, you know, because so much of this is about coming out of hiding and sharing your shiny self. So pictures, images, thoughts, whatever came to you from the process, share it with us, and we'll comment and share and support each other. And this is part of that. You know, the in-story show is a little taste of the whole in-story way for us, how we nourish each other out of hiding. So did you make that up yourself, Aline?
Yeah, absolutely. I just like to say as well, I felt that so much. That thank you so much for letting me do that. It was beautiful.
But you know, it's such a good example that when you trust yourself and you lead your own processes, we feel so good when we do a real thing. What a concept.
Yeah, so you asked me if I made it up. Yes, I did. Well, it was kind of given to me. I was asked to hold a drama class in Barcelona, and I was thinking I'll do some guided meditations that I know. And I was I was taking some notes. I was sat at the beach having a cup of coffee, and it just came to me.
But that's so much what I want people to get, is that we all have this ability for stuff to come to us, and then we don't share it with anybody because we don't trust ourselves. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
And a lot of what I do, that one I've done a number of times, but what I do with my clients just is given. There's no pre-rehearsal, there's no notes, it just happens. It's intuitive.
Right. Right, 100%. So Aline, tell us a little bit about what the free gift is that you made for everybody, because they're gonna love it so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. It's an intuitive guided meditation. I recorded it on the Leo full moon, and it's really appropriate for now, and aligning with your authentic self. Excuse me, your authentic self, because Leo is all about I am. So there's a lot of really good stuff about affirmations and letting go and allowing yourself to receive inspiration. Anyway, I don't give too many spoilers, but it's only about 20 minutes. So you know, you take time for yourself, switch the phone off, just have a moment. You don't have to do it on full moon. I received it on full moon, but it works at any phase of the moon. But just relax and enjoy.
So great. So get the free gift, and then you'll also have a way to connect with Aline so that you can share what happened with you, what would be a next step for you to take that, because really the work Aline does with people is so unbelievable in moving people from that kind of closed, constricted place into that more expanded realm. And I do really believe we're in times that are really opening for everybody to allow us to do that. So Aline, just as we're coming to the end, maybe can you share like a last few words of inspiration that you know, about what you see happening with this kind of work for people in the world right now?
Yeah, absolutely. What I really feel is that so many people have lost connection with creativity, and and when people talk about being creative, it's as if you have to be in a box and be a creative, but we're all a creation. And we all have the ability to create. And so many people, so many of my clients have said, well, I don't know how, I'm not going to see anything. How am I going to? And it's fine. I want to say that as well. If you don't see anything, it's absolutely fine. Just feel it with the full moon meditation. but once we really go in and we really, really listen, and we get ourselves in a place of stillness, switch off TVs, phones, best places out in nature, day or night. The best places, in my opinion, is under a tree. And, you know, because you're grounded, but you're also connected. And then you just listen, take some deep breaths in, and really listen. Yeah, I'm really, really emphatic about that as well. But even if, say you live, you don't live in nature, but there's a park nearby, you know, you can, there's always a way. Or even if you just have a beautiful plant, just be next to the plant in your apartment. It's a really beautiful way to connect. You just close your eyes and listen. We all use this a lot. I know it's very much a sales tool. We have one of these and two of these, but it's so true in life that to listen, and the person that we really should listen to the most is ourselves. Really, really is. And when we do, that's when we meet the most amazing people. That's when, you know, life happens and we accept our gifts.
So you're so right, and it is a journey, and that's where all the support comes in, and why, you know, why the series is important, why I created the In Story Way. It's because that support that you are offering us is what we have to do for each other. So, Aline, thank you so much. That was super.
Thank you so much.
And super awesome. And everybody, do get Aline's free gift. Share what you got from her process in the interview in the Facebook group. And as I always say in farewell, remember to go out in the world, share your story, live your purpose, and be a blessing. Bye, everybody. Thanks, Aline.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.